So if I could just ask you to introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Yasmin. I am 20. I've lived at the Foyer since the 29th of December. That was my move-in date. But I lived in like the partner home called Pathways before that. So I've been living in Curo Foyer property for a while. Um, I I moved here because of being homeless when I was 17, and then it forwarded on from that. Um, and yeah, that's
And
pretty.
how did you get involved with the Youth Power Fund project in the Foyer?
So they wrote out a letter to like everyone, like in a text message. And my support worker specifically spoke to me about it because I'm a bit of an activist when it comes to things like change. I enjoy making change, and I would say that I have quite a strong prominent voice when it comes to, if there's something that I think is wrong or something that I feel like there could be a more positive impact, I will say that. So I guess my personality kind of fits into the role as it goes.
Great. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about the project that you're working on in the Foyer, and what's been happening.
Okay, so there's a small group of people, me and two other people from my knowings now, that are like dead set on doing it together. There's a few others that are like in and out of it, but basically is a group of people at the Foyer who are taking more of the leadership roles so that we can choose the impacts that funding or people have on the Foyer. So we've met like once a week ish. Like obviously it's kind of hard getting everyone in the same like area at the same time, like everyone has lives and everything like that. Sorry, I'm not very good at talking and reading at the same time, so if someone has a question I might not be able to like do everything. I'm so sorry.
Maybe we can do questions at the end.
Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah. I'll read the chat in a minute. I'm so sorry if I'm being rude. It's funny seeing the chat. Anyway, sorry. So things that the group, the Power Fund people, the young people are going to be doing. So things like, as I said, funding, I feel like that's quite an obvious one, but things like recruitment and like which staff would be coming, because obviously this is my home, this is where I live, like I see these people every day. They're as close to family as I'm going to get in this perimeter of homage. I make up words, by the way, I'm so sorry for that. Homage is not a word. Things like, like raising a public profile about the Foyer, and like things like, I don't know, like physical things like the hallways, or like groups that like engage other residents, like just having an impact on like from my perspective, or like Coral's perspective, or Taya's perspective. Cora and Taya, the two other girls that are working with me on this, from our perspectives, and being able to ask other young people who live in the Foyer their perspective on our level, rather than it being like this person asking this person. It's more like this person asking this person. I agree, homage should be a word.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry, you said questions at the end. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place. You might have to bring me back down to a level and re-ask me a few questions again. Yeah.
I think new words just taken off. I think we'll be homaging from now on. So could you maybe tell us a bit about how you've been working together as a group so far? So what sort of things have you been talking about?
So one of the main, so when I think about the main thing that we've been talking about at the moment, is kind of like, it's kind of like inceptioning each other. So like we've been speaking about the marketing side of like engaging other residents, because what me and Coral have noticed is that it is predominantly us two when it comes to like the cooking meets and like the resident involved activities within the Foyer. So we said like the first thing that me and Coral spoke about was rearranging the boards in the hallways of where people see, and like where we live, the hallways are painted gray, which I fully understand why, like because it's easier to paint over, it like keeps a like one level. But like for a lot of young people, I speak for myself on this one, like art and color is like a huge thing to like your mood and stuff like that. So we've been like saying about maybe adding some color, which will then we could add into like the marketing of other things that will create more leadership. So we're taking leadership by taking that, and then hopefully from that project other residents will walk through the hallways and be more attracted to that, because we understand what, as a resident, what would attract our eye. Which then follows on to the other thing that me and Becky have spoke about most often, which is recruitment. So I've been so lucky with my support workers. Like I'm quite a hippie person, if you will, and I've had more relaxed support workers, like people like me, and I'm so thankful for that. So like having like, and that's just by luck. So having having I was gonna say workers, that doesn't sound very nice. Having staff members that that are recruited by us is so empowering, because that's our family, like that's like who we're going to be speaking to and communicating with. And like some people, you know, like some people would just catch a vibe from someone and they won't feel like they can talk to them. Like I've had it with therapists in the past where like I've had one therapist and I've got on with them really well, and I've had another and I haven't. And like it's not that the person I haven't got along with isn't a good person or anything like that, it's just there isn't that bondage there. And I think that recruitment is very important. Other things like events and stuff like that, obviously that could come into it, but our peoples haven't really thought about that side yet, because we're more interested in engaging the other residents who aren't necessarily like fully involved with the fund.
Yeah. I think that's a real sign of leadership, actually, to kind of first look around you and see who else you can bring with you in that power journey. That's really great to hear. Yes. So I've got one more question for you. Why do you think it's important for young people to be involved in making change happen?
Okay, I think this is my favorite question. This is definitely my favorite question. And I think that every person on this call will know the answer to this. And I think that I'm just going to be saying words that everyone's thinking. But for young people, leadership is so important. Like we are the future. Like I'm doing it not just for me, I'm doing it for my kids' kids. Like I think about being a parent, and like the reasons why I'm in the foyer is the same reasons why I want to make such a change in the world. So like I think that the world needs more diversity, and I think that bringing like advantages, bringing leadership, bringing all these different ways of thinking and different environments, different roots, okay, that's a better word, different roots of life is so important for people. That I speak for myself, and I assume everyone else in the foyer has the same reasons, but we weren't shown leadership by our parents. We weren't shown these like good qualities. So where are we supposed to learn them from? And like learning from people our own age. So like say you give me a step up, and then I'm able to give the next person a step up, and then hey ho, there's like 10 other young people that are like ready to change the world, if you will. I think that having a place for ideas to like go is so important. So like yeah, like I something that happens often is I'll be sat in a meeting with my support worker, and I'll just be, you know, rambling on, as you can probably tell I do, and we'll say an idea, and before now it would just be like yeah, like that's a good idea, like good idea, but now it's like, maybe I could actually speak to Coral and Taya and other young people about this, have the push that I need from other people as well. Because, you know, I am one person, I can't do this all alone. It's very lovely having like other young people with me, and we can do it together. And like, as I was saying, with the changing the colors on the walls and stuff, like once me and Coral started that conversation, it started just going, and then like it like just made us so happy. Like we were just so like buzzing over the fact, we were like, this is an actual idea, this is our home. Like, yeah, I feel like I may have diversed a little bit of that question.